Hello and welcome to this third episode in our Headless PIM live stream series. Today's focus is on DAM or digital asset management. But first, I have with me Vasil, which is the lead front-end engineer here at Crystallize.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to join board for this episode of the Headless PIM series.
This will be a good one. And before we start, should we do a little bit of kind of definition because when we're talking about assets, I mean, this is obviously not wealth management we're talking about here. This is digital assets like images, videos, and files, things that you use obviously to enrich your product information or product landing pages, and you know what you use it for. And in the context of PIM, we're talking about basically uploading, organizing, sharing, and delivering assets. That's kind of the things we'll dive into. But there is also a twist here because we're talking headless PIM. And when you're classically thinking of PIM, that might be a back-end service where you import products from PIM into maybe an e-commerce solution, and then so it's typically not connected to the internet in that sense. As with headless, it basically means that you can in real time access all your assets via the APIs and also download transcoded or deliver directly transcoded versions from a global CDN. So transcoded versions means basically downscaled images converted to WebP, AVIF, the good web formats, having streamable videos in different sizes, etc. So that's kind of the context, and we'll look into how we manage this in Crystallize. And let's start from the beginning, Vasil, right? Let's put some images.
Great. Yeah. So really what you see here on the screen is the asset organizer that we have in Crystallize. And here, as you can see, I already have a few images that are uploaded, and they're used in different products. And we're going to see that in a bit. So as Board suggested here, maybe a good starting point is actually to upload some images to the asset organizer. So I'm going to open my file picker, which I guess you're not going to see because I'm sharing my browser. But I will pick four art images that I have here on my screen, and I'll just drop them in the asset organizer. So as you can see, I just dropped them. And so what is happening in the moment, we are uploading all of them on the background at the same time. And from here, actually, what we can do, we can add topics, or we can add some additional information to these assets so we know how to identify them. So first, I'll start by selecting images, and then I'll grab.
And maybe first, if you just click in on one of the images, I just want to showcase here, because these are original illustrations made by Bartos. So kudos or shout out to Bartos there. Yeah. Do some advertisement there. And also, if you go back into the image, the crocodile there, because you were talking about topics here, right? So first of all, we'll talk a little bit more about that later, but what is it?
Yeah, so the topics are kind of the way that we handle taxonomies, and we add this additional kind of way of grouping different assets or products. So I already prepared a few topics maps, and I will cover a bit later how we can create more. But for example, over here to this asset, we can add a topic. So let's say that this is actually let's search for there is the art, so add the art topic. Yep. And then we can also add a color definition that's a blue, and we can even go further and say that this is a living room.
living room, yeah.
Yeah, that it can be put in the living room quite easily, right? So we can attach all these topics to this asset, and then I'll go and save that.
And here you can also be more specific, for example, saying that this is light blue, and we're obviously talking about the background of because this is a black and white artwork, right?
Yeah. Shall we go back?
Yeah, maybe if you do it on multiple, right? Because that's also, and if you refresh your browser just quickly, and then you.
So from here, what we can do, actually, we can work with multiple assets at the same time, because like really attaching these topics to one asset at a time, it's something that consumes a lot of time. But what we can do is that we can select multiple. So I can select this, and this. Kind of these are all four assets that I uploaded.
Yeah.
And over here, from the topics, I can attach, let's say first that these are art images. Then we can say that, let me search for the living room, it's over here. And I will attach these two topics to four images at the same time. And then from here, what we can do, actually, we can go in attach topics one at a time. So for example, on this one, I can say that this is red, even light red and red at the same time. And then touch this. I already did it for the light blue, so I can go, I'm sorry, I had to select it first over here and say that this is a blue and dark blue. So we can attach multiple at the same time. And then we can do the same for the green artwork here on my screen.
Yeah. So this is basically you're classifying the images, giving them some semantic meaning, and we'll get back to reasons why. But obviously, this is kind of the first start and one of the ways that you organize your assets. That you can have just uploaded assets that are classified with topics, which means that you, of course, can filter and also create semantic relations between images, etc. So if you then, for example, let's look at an image, and maybe I don't know, just click on the red one there.
Yeah, let's get it.
Yeah. Because here we see that this is classified with it's red, light red, living room, and it's a piece of art, right? So kind of two different dimensions of topics. One is where is this type of product typically used, and the color information. But if you scroll down here, you will see that you also get hits from other images that have the same topic. So red, obviously, you get some sofas, stand mixer, and some espresso machines, and that goes for all the topics. And this is also the way that you can navigate when you have a large image catalog. So you can actually just click on View All Assets, for example, to the right there.
If I click on View Assets, then I'll get back to the main view where I have selected the living room topic, right? And I'm going to see all assets that are tagged with the living room topic.
Super useful for narrowing down. So if you click away, for example, on let's do like start from kitchen. If you go to the asset organizer and let's just do a kitchen. So we see all images that
tagged as a kitchen. Yeah. And then from here we can even narrow it further down. That's I guess what you're.
That's exactly what I'm thinking of, right? Because here we have two different types of products, so we can do, for example, espresso machine. I don't know.
Yeah, let's try that. Kitchen espresso machine. A few of them are removed. And then from here, if you want to go like even further and say that I want to get all espresso machines like tagged with espresso machine tag in the kitchen, which are red, for example, right? In this case. And then I will get exactly the images with those tags defined already.
Exactly. And this is in the context just of asset organizer. We haven't associated with any products or anything yet, right?
No.
But if we switch then to, let's go to a product.
Okay. I'll go to the catalog, product plans. Let's grab the Monstera here, the first plan that we have. Mm-hmm.
And because what if I would like to, I don't know, create some marketing here, right? So we can do that.
How can you do that? Yeah, easily. Let's maybe get this story paragraph that we have here and add some story about it. So I'll create a new paragraph. I'll paste the name here, and I'll say that it also looks nice in the living room. Right, and then what we can do actually, how we can add these assets that we just looked to a product. So there is one easy way to do that here from the catalog. Here at the top, we have the different options that we can switch the sidebar, and we can use the asset sidebar. So this is a kind of a condensed view of the asset organizer, where we get kind of all the capabilities that we have in the asset organizer to filter by topics and narrow down to a specific one, and then just use it in your product. So here I can say a living room, for example. I can say that I want art that I can use in the living room. And even if you want to go further, you can say that I want just the blue assets, right?
And further, you can go light blue, right? In this case.
Yeah, if that's really what we want. But I think we can just grab one of the two, or maybe the two. So let's see. So if I want to use this asset in this product, there is like the option to either grab one of them and just drag it over the paragraph, or I can even grab two of them and then just paste them in the place where I then want them to appear.
And of course, now we searched for images that obviously were on screen. We could just grab them directly. But when you have thousands and thousands of assets, this organization makes it very easy to find back content, basically. What's next? Because now you uploaded the images to a paragraph. Can you also upload directly to a paragraph? And I know, of course, the answer is yes.
Yeah, we can upload images directly to paragraphs, to the image component, for example. We can upload images directly to variant assets, variant images, either from the asset organizer or directly from our local computer. There are a few options that we can use around that.
And I guess we'll get back to a little bit that context also. But if you go directly to an image here, because back to the asset organizer. So if you want to go from this product, maybe the Monstera, let's do the Monstera image you have there, for example. And navigate to the asset organizer from the image on the right.
Yeah. So the way that we can do that from like all the places where we displayed images, like as I said, we have the option to actually go and see the image details. So by clicking on that, it takes you straight from the catalog to the asset organizer where exactly this image lives. So it's a direct link.
And also now, so this is kind of using it internally within a product, which we also see here. It's referenced in the Monstera product. So you see which products or items in general are using this image. But if you want to distribute and share, you also have the download capacity here. So maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so from the asset organizer, but also from the catalog, I'll show you in a second, we can actually download the image. And that's what actually Bort was talking in the beginning of this series, that distributing the images in a different size, different formats, and everything is just pre-generated and ready for you to use it. So what I mean here is that on the download button, for example, when I click here at the option, you see that those are different images, different sizes of the image that we generated, and with different file formats. So from here we can decide if you want to download, for example, a smaller version of the image in AV format or WebP, which are more compressed, and then use it in a different place. Or even better, we can copy the link to this specific image, which is already living on the CDN, right? It's distributed, and then we can just post it in like a social media blog or on a different place where we can just reference that image, which is already compressed, as I said, in the right format and the right size for social media.
That's super handy. And of course, in a headless context, this is often done via the API, and you automatically extract it using a front-end framework. That's, in reality, how you most likely are going to use it. But this is exactly the same, just manually. What about internal sharing? Because I probably want to use that image maybe in another product, or maybe in the marketing paragraph that you just created.
Yeah. So for that, in Crystallize, we have the concept of the lightbox. This is the one place where you can actually grab different images, put in your lightbox, and then you know that you have the lightbox always available. And from there, what you can do, you can just navigate to different products and drag and drop images from your lightbox to the place where they should go, right? So how it's done? Quite often. So for example, let me go over here. So when you hover one of the images, you see here at the bottom, we show this small icon that says add to lightbox. So when you click it, what happens actually is that the image is now added in the lightbox. So I can go and grab like a few different ones. All of them, they pop here at the lightbox. So the way that we can use them, as Bort said, so if I go to a product here, let's say this paragraph, I can just open my lightbox, and then I can drag and drop, and then the image just appear at the place where it is. But maybe one additional benefit of using the lightbox, Bort, I think this is also good to mention, is that the lightbox is shared between different tabs, between different tenants. That means if you have a browser with two tabs which are having two different tenants, you can copy images from one tenant and then easily go to the other tab, and then you see the lightbox is there, and then you can drag images and drop into the new tenant. But what we're going to do, of course, we're not going to keep the reference to the old tenant. We'll just get the asset and then add it to the new tenant as a new asset. But it's just available for you.
And of course, when you reuse an image like this within the same tenant, it's not creating a copy. It's just a reference.
Exactly.
Yeah. What if you want to be a little bit more nerdy? Do we have something there?
Yeah. So, like the way that we're kind of seeing the nerdy when you said, right, is like going a little bit more into not the pretty view, but nerdy, where we can manipulate multiple roles and multiple assets at the same time. So what we can do here, for example, I'm going to add 4 new variants to this item. And one way that
product variants on this Monstera. So you had small, medium, large version of this, and now you're adding a couple of more. This is what we're looking at now, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just additional variants to this product. And then what we can do from here, we can click on the assets here, for example, the images. And I'll start maybe with the name first. Just drag and drop, right? So I'll put this name to the other 3 variants at the same time, and I'll do the same for the images. So you see how easy it is actually to distribute this one image to multiple variants at the same time. And even you can do one additional thing here that I think it's really getting nerdy. For example, here I have this one asset that I grabbed from Pexels. What you can do from here, I can just copy the image address over here, and then I'll go back to the nerdy view, and in the image box here, I'll just paste. I'll just do Command V, and the image is now uploaded, and it's part of our asset organizer. It goes straight to that variant. It's just available for us again.
And this is actually quite handy also because with the cut and paste here, obviously you can cut and paste from Excel or Google Sheets. So if you actually have a document with URLs of the images and that you can access, of course, then you can actually paste in a full product set and have the images being downloaded and imported directly. So that's quite smooth feature.
Yeah, exactly. We can import like multiple assets to a single variant, to a single box here, right? In one go.
Yeah. Okay. Let's look a little bit more on organization, because we talked about what you're showing now is the 3 product variants that have their own media, but we also have other ways to associate images with a product that we're looking at now.
Yeah. So the other way that we can associate kind of assets with products is by adding files and videos, right? So those are different formats of of the assets. So what we have here, we prepared this multiple choice component, which is care information about this plant. And what we can do here, for example, we can add a description, and we can say this is our top 10 tips for care plants.
And also, because this here now you have a section where you want to have care information, and you can select among different components that we've obviously pre-configured, where you see underneath there you have description, images, video, and files.
Yeah.
So this is different than the images that are part of the product variant, because you have the media section of the product variant, which is call it the primary media for that variant, typically the specific color or the specific image for the small, medium, large version. But you can have it in different contexts also, so that you can have several components that you will show now where you can upload and also reuse assets. So just to give it a little bit more meaning.
Yeah, that's great, of course. And then, as you said here, there are like the additional ways that we can add media, and then one of them is, for example, to add the image component. And what we can do with the image component, once again, we can drag images from our asset sidebar here, or we can drag the image from the lightbox, or if you have an image on your local computer, we can do that as well. So I have prepared 2 images here. I'll just drop them. Then kind of in this section that we are talking about how we can take care of the plants, of course, apart from the images, right, we can have some additional assets which we can make available for our plants. And one other option here is to use video, for example, and that's where we have the video component. So I'm going to add the video component, and here I have a small video that I prepared for that. We upload it, and as you can see, the video is already available.
Nice.
But apart from the images and videos, we can also have files. For example, we can have like a PDF file or some document that explains exactly how to take care of this plant. So then I'm going to add this file component, and again, I'll just drop a description of this plant and what's the proper way, really, kind of the top 10 tips of taking care of that. And this is just kind of a combination of all different assets that we can and components that we have defined and we can use kind of in our exposure.
And also now you have uploaded the images, but so it's a kind of different way to attack it, because initially you uploaded directly to the asset organizer, not to a product, and here you upload it directly to a component within a product, but it's also being popped in the asset organizer, so you can of course go back and organize them and add topics, etc. So so it's kind of 2 different entries. Either from Lightbox or just a direct upload of the files there. And as always, as we mentioned, whenever an image is used in a product, you will see that on the image where it's used.
Yeah.
Maybe we should take a look at another way of associating images with products or documents in general, but in this case we're talking about products. If you want to talk a little bit and show a little bit around the concept of hotspots and showcases that we've added, and there is because there is a product in there. If you go and an image in there which already has some hotspots.
Let me try this one maybe.
Yeah, if you look at that one,
Yeah.
because basically we've cheated a little bit. We prepared the image, but we'll show you how it's done.
Yeah. So as you said, Bort, here, so far we talked about the concept of kind of associating image to a product. But now this is kind of the missing link, or the reverse link, right? Where we are associating image with multiple products. And that's the concept of showcases. And I guess we've seen that quite often, where we have on a site like the image, and then we have different points that are pointing to a specific product that gives additional information, or like a price, or whatever. It could be many things about the things that we are pointing to. And what we prepared here, there are these three showcases, where the first one, for example, is pointing to this Monstera plant on the back. We can set the position here, as you can see, and then it immediately updates on screen. And then this is the second showcase pointing to these plants, and then we have one additional. So how we can add more showcases here? Here at the bottom we have the showcase option. Then we can pick the item. So we'll go to the plants, and then grab this pillar, for example. I'm sorry, I just drop it here below. And then from here, I will add it and point to the place where it belongs. So it's simple as that.
That's nice. And also now we showed it with products, but any item. So it could be a blog post, or a care information page, things like this. So it can also be like not necessarily just products, but also information on maybe how to use it, how to care for them, or technical specifications, things like this. Yeah. Before we leave this screen, I just want to mention also the concept of focal point, because it's a different concept, which is basically allowing you to add where in the image, if you want to, let's say you want to resize it in the front end, or crop it, or have a smaller square version of the image, where should you focus when you want to resize the image in the front end? And typically for people, you would focus on the face, for example. Here you would probably focus on the main product, or the most beautiful product, things like this. So that's additional information you can also add to any image in Crystallize.
Yeah.
So that's the reverse. We've seen how we can add images to different places in a product, and you can define, give them meaning, like care information, for example, and same. Not the same, but the reverse from an image, where you can place products in an image. So kind of two sides of the same world. But that means that you've explicitly set up these references. Let's talk about how we can do this with implicit relations by using topic maps, which is also a very handy, let's say, way of getting data.
Yeah, maybe I think this is the place where actually we can show the topic maps that we started using in the beginning. So this is the same tenants. Here we prepared two different topic maps. One is the cover, and the second time is the type. And the type topic map is just describing what kind of rooms we have. For example, this in this case, right? We have a kitchen, living room, and then in the living room we can have art or sofa, and then in the kitchen could be the mixer or the espresso machine.
Yeah, and this, of course, is just examples. You can have many different dimensions, like you have with color. It could be material, it could be country of origin, whatever makes sense for your use case. And basically, yeah.
And then here we define the second color map, and as you can see, it can have really much more nodes describing exactly each piece of the puzzle, right? So here for the color, we can have like a green, for example, light green, neon, teal, red, and white, and then with different shades, and all of this could be just described with the topic maps.
Yeah, and this is just describing information. For certain industries, there are also standards for this. Like for classification of books, for example, there's something called temas, which is the classification of basically the type of content that is inside the book. But if you go to a product, let's do the Monstera as we started with that, and basically we can go into a product, and at the bottom we have the possibility to add topics. So there's already a topic here with plant, but we can also do here with I don't know, green, which is, I mean, kind of obvious, but the point is the same. So this means that we have associated topics with the product. Now, since we have associated topics with the product, we can actually use this to query the assets that match here, so that you have a loose connection or an implicit relation, we can call it, between the product and the images. Which means that if you create a new image that is tagged with plant and green, you have an implicit association here because of the filtering we showed before, that you can filter on topics, right? I think a good example of this is for one of our customers, Sweef, which is a Swedish furniture manufacturer. They use a lot of assets, videos and images, and also 3D models. And basically, when you have configured a product here with a particular fabric, as you see on the right part of the screen here, we have a yellow fabric which is selected on top there. The way that they creatively use images is they use a lot of, I call it mood images or environmental images, where it's not a catalog image. They put the products in a context. Of course, you want a sofa in the garden. And this is an example of products using the same material, not necessarily the same product, because it represents how well, basically you get an impression of how that material looks in different lights, in different contexts, on different shapes, or basically different products. So it's a way that you can manage a lot of assets and have them loosely connected or implicit connection. And you can think of this as maybe also with a product configurator, where you can filter down just assets that match the combination of what you have selected there. So quite a useful pattern to use there. And I think we'll end on this this here. We've looked at how we can upload, how we can organize with topic maps, how we can create relationships between products and assets, 3 ways. And of course, we've also looked at how you can share between tenants or internally with the Lightbox. So that's asset organization in Crystallize for you. Since you watched this far, please subscribe. We will come with a new episode next week, next Thursday, we will do one on information architecture. That means that we will add some structure to our product catalog, which is now flat. Well, it's not fully flat since we created some hierarchy for today's demo, but that's a different story. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.
Yep. Bye.